Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you the roller coaster of a January that we had starting out the year of 2025. My name is Morgan here at the Life of Tillmans. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm so glad that you decided to join me here. If you've been here before, welcome back. Y'all ever feel like when you are getting ready to start, it's the new year. You want to start all the things and you want it to be right. You have this plan, you've been working on it all of December. You're like, this is how we're going to start the year. It's going to go this way, all the things. And then it all comes to like a screeching halt. Or maybe not even a halt, but it just does not work out how you had it all planned and you thought that it would. And it's not even that the plan just didn't work out. You just didn't execute it very well. That's where I am. That's where we are within our homeschool. And we are digging ourselves out of this hole. I feel like this entire year, we've kind of struggled to be consistent, to stay focused, on schedule, on track, like all the things. This has probably been the most challenging year when it comes to being able to get back on track. Now, normally, I've talked to you guys before, we have volleyball that goes on like August, September, October, and we do pull back on a lot of things. A lot of things change up. We are not finishing every curriculum. Like, that's the norm. But like when October hit and we were done with volleyball in the middle of October, I could not get us out of that on and off pattern, you guys. It's really been a challenge. And at first I just thought, okay, we're burned out. We just need a break. But we're not burned out. We haven't even been working that hard, y'all. I'll just be 100% honest. We are still going to finish everything. The girls are still learning. Everyone is still progressing, but it has not been the easiest path. It has been challenging. And it's just more of a mental thing like, all right, girl, snap out of it, get it together. This is what you guys have to do. Lord, give me the motivation, the determination, the focus, all of the things. I need the strength of the Lord right now to be able to continue. And my girls need it too. Just inconsistencies, you guys. And those inconsistencies have been going on, I feel like, since August. And so we are really digging ourselves out of a hole. We are digging ourselves out of a hole. I sat down the other day to see where we were with curriculum, really get back on track and see what the plan is. And looking at some of the things that the girls are working on, like science and history, we will not have a break in there. We will go until it is time to start the next level. And that's just how it's going to have to be. We will also be doing Saturday school. And I think I shared this in the last one. We have done some Saturday school, but we are really going in on Saturday school right now because we cannot afford any more time, especially from those areas. Now, when I really think about it, and I'll go through each one of my girls, but individually, they're doing really well. And as far as like math and grammar and reading, they're doing really well. Those seem to be the things that anything that happens, we're able to really stay focused on those. It's the extra stuff, extra. I call it extra. It's still required, y'all, but like the history, the science, even with my youngest daughter, getting into all of the fun stuff. And that is what I feel like we've really been missing in our homeschool is fun. The fun things like art and exploring and field trips and all of those things. I think we've taken 2 field trips this year that I would count as field trips. And they're just, it's fun, it's educational. We turn anything into educational, but two, maybe 3 field trips this whole year. And maybe that's normal, but typically we are doing some form of out of the house learning experience, field trip, something we turn into a field trip every single month. And so to going to that, to only having done 3 now, it's a little hard. It's an adjustment. So that's where we are with January. It was just kind of this thing of like, we can do it, and we'll get on track for 3 days, and then we're off for 6, and then we're back on track again. And there was a lot of, oh, I didn't finish that today as we're running out the door for volleyball. Oh, I didn't get this done. I didn't get that done. And so that's what I mean, like the focus, the determination, the discipline is really what we're all getting back to. And I say we because it's me too. And knowing that there's just certain things that even though I don't like doing them with my girls, I have to do that right now in order to get us back in a place where we're all thriving and giving our absolute best, like 100%. And this is not like homeschool that is like school at home. It is getting back to the things that we love and making time for the fun. Because I don't know about you guys, but typically when I feel stressed about things or we're not completing things, the fun stuff is the first thing to go. But I also believe that the fun stuff is what we really, really need in our homeschools. We thrive off of that for our family. We enjoy the fun. And while we're enjoying our science and we're enjoying our history, it's not like doing some art or the kind of stuff that we used to do. I also feel like my second grader is kind of missing out on some of the things that I did with my girls, my older two at her age. And so I'm really working to get back to that. But I've kind of been clouded by some challenges that we have had with her. Okay, so that leads me into talking about my second grader. So she is currently still using it, and I'm going to say this again, we have not stopped any curriculum that we started at the beginning of the year. So if you want to know what we're doing, check out these monthly updates. Also, go back to the beginning of the school year where I shared curriculum, and we're still using all this. So one thing that I've noticed with her is that we are progressing. She is progressing every day, but not at the rate that I am used to, that I have taught with my older two. I will not get into the comparison trap. This is definitely not that. However, I've had to adjust. And anytime we're accustomed to something, I am a creature of habit. So that's just me by nature. If it's working, I'm not going to change it. And so my habit or my norm was my oldest and my middle daughters as far as reading and math facts and the progression and the pace that they went at. That was a norm for me. However, my youngest daughter is not on that same track. And while I'm okay with that, I'm not trying to make her meet a certain standard that my other girls were able to achieve. It's really making me have to grow as her teacher and her mother and understand that this is where she is. These are the things that she needs. These are some of the challenges that we're experiencing, and we're just going to have to work through them. Like, that's the reality of it. You just have to work through them. And in that process, I have learned that there are certain things that she needs that I have to be able to give her. I have to provide throughout our day in order for her to thrive. And this is not like a giving into your child because they won't perform. This is what her brain needs. This is how active she is, and this is where we need to focus. So in Logic of English, she is in Foundations D, and we have been moving at a snail's pace in Foundation. However, the lessons for Foundations D in comparison to A, B, and C are a lot longer. And instead of me trying to go through Foundations D every lesson in 2 to 3 days, we are taking a full week to do one lesson for Foundation. I am completely fine with that. It is really helping her. Number one, it is helping to slow us down. It's giving us more time to do independent reading, where, and I say independent, she's reading to me, and we do that for 30 minutes a day. Then we also do back and forth. She'll read a page, I read a page. We do that for additional 30 minutes a day. And then we do some type of audio book as well for about 15 minutes a day every day. So she's getting a lot of reading, but that is what she is needing. And the progression within any curriculum, but specifically Logic of English, because that's the one that she's using, that progression cannot continue if she doesn't grasp those basic concepts. And it just reminds me of how, like, you have students in the public school, private school classroom, and they just are allowed to keep going to the next level, the next level, the next level, and they're not, the time is not being taken to really hone in on what it is that they're needing. So us doing more reading is what she needs. My oldest girls did not need that much reading throughout the day. So that's been an adjustment for me, and I'm okay with that. This is not a negative thing. It's just a realization on my end to say, this is what your youngest daughter needs, and you have to figure out how to provide it for her, period. Also, she's using Math with Confidence Level 2 for math, and we switched from Saxon Math. She did Saxon K and 1, and then we switched to. We also have some Horizons math work that we haven't been incorporating. We also have some Horizons math work that we've been incorporating in there as well. We also have some Horizons math that we will incorporate in there as well. But she needs to get the math facts. She has to get those down, or we can't keep moving on within. And so we're moving slower because I'm taking more time to focus on more with math facts. And we're doing that through games and even just plain old flashcards, you guys. But she's getting it. But the repetition is something that she needs over and over. But she also needs a spiral approach, because when we leave something for too long, she struggles to remember. And I say too long, I'm talking go out of town for 5 days and come back, and it's like, wait, I don't remember what we were doing. That type of too long, okay? So she still needs a spiral approach. So I'm not looking to change her to anything that is more of a mastery curriculum. We really do like Math with Confidence too. The games are really fun. We are just having to slow down so that we can practice more on math facts and still learn the other concepts. And it's just really new. It's just new for me in teaching her because I didn't have to do a lot of these things with my oldest two daughters, but there were things that I had to do with them that I have not had to do with her. So that's just a part of the process. They're all different, and I'm just really grateful that I have the opportunity to really tailor her learning to her needs and my oldest daughters as well. So that's where we are with her. And in slowing down with each one of these is really providing us the opportunity to add more fun in. She's in second grade, she's 7. She'll be 8 in a couple of months, but she's still a baby. We want to still have fun. We want to do art projects and play around with clay and kinetic sand. She's loving her Berean Builder science. The experiments have been going really well and she gets to do them. And that's something that she loves. Outside of, we did something the other day where she had to light a match and she did not get to light the match. That was all me. But she got to do everything else. So it's really going well. It's just not the pace that I anticipated. So that's kind of the thing. We have expectations and we're like, wait, but this is not working. And then there's, that realization, and then there's the adjustment, and then you get into a groove. So we are getting into a groove. And while I'm trying to get her into a groove, I also have my older two daughters and I'm trying to get them back into a groove and doing all the planning things. So that's the update on the second grader. My middle daughter, she's doing great. She's thriving at Saxon Math 8-7, doing really, really well. Really well. She's in sixth grade doing pre-algebra. It's going really well. Science is going really well. Everything. She's doing great. We have not picked back up writing. She did finish writing strands beginning level 2. She finished that a few months ago. We've not gone back into a writing curriculum. She's really been focusing on reading comprehension, but we will go back into some form of writing. She really wants to start IEW. My issue with that is I only have one computer for the girls to use. Well, I need another computer because my oldest daughter is doing IEW as well. So there's the struggle with that. So we need to get another computer in order for her to be able to watch the videos. And we've also not restarted a grammar for her. She finished Easy Grammar back in December, middle of December. So we've not started another grammar, which she will just go into Winston Grammar. I shared that in the curriculum video at the beginning of the year, that's what she would transition into. And we just haven't done that yet either. She doesn't have many lessons left for that. So I'm really just kind of waiting, giving her a break from a little bit of grammar before she goes into Winston Grammar again, and she'll finish that by the end of the school year. Other than that, she's doing amazing. And I will also be fully transparent. Electives are not happening right now. They are getting volleyball, read alouds, science experiments, kitchen school. That's pretty much where we are. Our focus right now, you guys, is school, volleyball, gymnastics for my youngest, and home maintenance. That is the season that we are in. There are no electives happening. At first, I mourned that because I enjoy electives and they do too. But this is just where we are. We just have to get this together before we can start adding in more things, because if this is still out of control and we add stuff, then it just gets more out of control. So we're just going baseline right now. And that's okay. They have participated in a lot. My girls have not been deprived of any extracurricular activities, experiences, or anything thus far. They're not hurting whatsoever. That's where we are with my middle daughter. Now, talking about both of my older daughters together, I have a sixth grader and a seventh grader. They do math and history together. We are doing Not Grass from Adam to Us, world history, and they are doing Berean Builders, the atomic ages for science. This science level is, and this is just my open thoughts, you guys, put down in the comments whatever you want to say, but the science curriculum is for seventh grade. So my sixth grader is doing it. The history is seventh and eighth grade. Both of my girls are doing that, if I'm not mistaken. It may be sixth, somewhere in there. I am trying to plan for high school, in short, and I have to think about that right now for both of them, because as I said before, my sixth grader is taking pre-algebra. So the next step would be algebra 1, but I don't want her to take algebra 1 in the seventh grade because, number one, she won't get any high school credit for it because algebra 1 is a ninth grade class, but she won't get high school credit for it as a seventh grader. The course that I would have her go to after Saxon 8-7, she would also get half of a geometry credit. So that's another credit of high school that she wouldn't get. And I just don't feel like she has to rush. However, she is going to be the one to take higher level math, but she just doesn't have to start this early. So I was talking to another homeschool friend of mine and she said, hey, just like do some type of like consumer math or financial literacy or, critical thinking type math, word problem math, something different. And so my thoughts are to slow her down a little bit with Saxon 8-7s pre-algebra to where she does that like 2 or 3 days a week. And then the other couple of days, she does some other type of math. That's what I think I'm moving forward to do with her. And I think she will really enjoy it. She also loves coding and robotics. If we can incorporate more of that into her weekly schedule, that'll be really fulfilling for her. Those are my thoughts right now to try to plan. But also on science, she's doing a seventh grade science now. My plan is to continue with Berean Builders, which the next level is Earth Science, which can be used for credit, but she'll be in seventh grade. She can't get high school credit in seventh grade, at least not where we are. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with that because with my girls being so close together, they're just one grade apart. I'm either going to be pushing my youngest, my middle daughter, up too far, or I'm going to be holding my oldest daughter back. So that is the struggle with us doing those subject matters together. So I talked about this before, maybe 6 months ago or so, that I feel like I'm getting to that point to where family subjects will not be a thing in our house because of the path that my girls are on. However, that's not what I want. But I'm going to do what's best for them, of course. It's just different and I'm planning for it. I'm trying to really think this process out. My seventh grader, she will be eighth grade next year. She will do algebra 1 and she will do the Berean Builder Science, which will for ninth grade. So she will have two ninth grade credits, and then we will continue on with all the other IEW writing. She's really doing well in grammar. She is doing Easy Grammar 8. I'm just really trying to plan for high school, you guys. Too, I feel like I need to get that plan together now before I start choosing curriculum and making decisions and pivoting and all the things because it's like once you get on this path, you can't just abort mission and restart, especially not in high school, from what I've heard. Now, I'm no expert at this at all. I have to say that these are my thoughts and the process that I'm going through. And I am doing a ton of research, but I'm not going to get on here and share with you guys what you should do for your person who's entering high school because I don't know. I have never homeschooled an eighth grader before. I have never homeschooled a ninth grader, 10th grader. I have never done that before. So I am learning this process and prayerfully, God leads me in the direction to get it right. Get it right for my oldest. A lot of times they're the guinea pig so that it can be right for my middle daughter and my youngest. So I'm not really sure. But when I figure it out, I'm going to share with you what is working. I will never, ever, ever come on here and share with you guys things that are not working for our household. To me, that is a fraud, and I will not do that. So if it's not something that I have tried and has worked for our home, you will not hear me talk about it. And if I do, I'm going to reference the person who did try it and it worked for them so that you could go check out their stuff. Thinking about homeschooling high school really makes me nervous. And I know there are a lot of people who say it's not that bad. Once you get into it, get in a groove, it's good. And I do believe that. I believe that once we get into a groove and we get a plan down and we stick with that plan, that it won't be that bad. But I'm pretty sure that getting into it was a struggle for anybody for the first time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just working through it right now, and these are just my thoughts at the moment about where we are. But the girls are really thriving. My oldest, I didn't talk about where she is currently, but she is doing Saxon 8-7 and doing amazing. She does not want to go to the next level of curriculum that I'm thinking about taking her to after this pre-algebra course just because it is online. However, that is necessary. I am really needing my older two daughters to be even more independent. Now, they go through Saxon now in all of their curriculum, and they rarely need my assistance, which is truly a blessing that they have the independence to do that. Now, we do still struggle with focus. So I am checking in like, hey, how are you doing? Do you need to take a 5-minute break so you can get back refocused? Is it snack time? Those types of things. But as far as needing my assistance in their grades and how they're progressing in their schoolwork, they're doing fabulous, which I'm so thankful for that. And so moving forward, going into high school courses, there are going to be things that I need them to do probably online because I do still have to focus a lot of time on my youngest daughter. And that's just where we are. They are not big fans of moving to online stuff. And I think I spoiled them a little bit by, just they were like, I don't want to be on the computer. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to be. But now we're getting to the point to where they're going to have to make those adjustments. And my oldest has done really well with doing IEW, watching the videos. And I know that's only a couple of days a week, but it's more than what she was doing on the computer. She's also typing her assignments on the computer, which is even more than what she was doing on the computer outside of typing. So that's progress. My middle daughter, she likes computers. That's just kind of her thing. Computers, coding, robotics, all the things. She doesn't have a problem with getting on there. So those are my thoughts. So in all, January was a really good month. It was a month of revelation. It was a month of understanding. It was a month of checking myself. Like, get it together, girl, because you cannot continue the rest of this year like this. It was also a month for me to realize that I'm not burned out, you guys. I'm not at all. We're not burned out at all. We're just out of sync, out of routine, not being disciplined, and we're digging ourselves out of that. So, right now, as I'm recording this video, things are better than what they were January 2nd. So I just have to share that because it's like, it's progress. Progress. I wish that we never were in that position, but we were, and we understand why and how we got there. And now we know how to get ourselves out of it. So I'm very proud of the month of January and the revelations and the thoughts and the commitment and recommitting ourselves to our homeschool, and how I know that God is going to allow us and lead us to finish off this school year, and we're going to do amazing things. So for the month of February, that is still really the focus for me to add more fun back in for my youngest daughter. And I do have a plan for that. Also, to start a few things that I talked about in our curriculum video for her at the beginning of the school year that we have not even touched yet. I'm going to do that. I have to print off a few things and prep some things. So that's going to take me a few days, but so that she can really start enjoying some of those things as well. Spreading out her two core curriculum areas and then adding in some of those other things. And she gets to pick a project every week outside of, school stuff that she wants to do. We have a whole art closet full of different projects. And we used to do those projects all the time. And once we slowed down, they've kind of just been sitting there. So that's another thing for her, but not just for her, my oldest daughters as well. But they have to push in a different way in order to be able to do some of those things. They spend a lot of time on the volleyball court. Just a chatty update, you guys. Let me know down in the comments, how has your homeschool been going for the month of January? What are some of the changes that you're planning on making? And how are you going to get there? I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.